Welcome back to today's episode of The Nerd Herd, where we explore quantum quacks and cosmic chuckles, the only podcast where stars align, mostly roast each other. I'm your host, Galactic Goofball, part-time stargazer, full-time space case, and today we've got a guest who's basically the Beyonce of heliocentrism. That's right, folks, Nicholas Copernicus is in the building. He studied astronomy, rewrote the solar system, still had time to invent the middle part of his name. Let's blast off into some planetary banter, maybe, just maybe, figure out why Pluto still needs therapy. Welcome, Nick. Can I call you Nick? Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on the show. I don't get many interview requests these days, probably because I'm dead.
Oh, okay. Well, you've charted the stars, but I'm guessing this is your first orbit around the podcasting world. By the way, when were you born?
I was born on February 19th, 1473, in a town called Torun, in what is now Poland. That was over 500 years ago. So yes, I'm officially older than your grandma's 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 grandma.
Hey, age is just a number. Welcome to the 21st century, Copernicus. So, who were your parents?
My dad was Nicholas the Elder. Yes, we had the same name. So in my house, if you yelled, "Hey Nicholas," you got two people answering. He was a merchant from Krakow, kind of like the 1400s Amazon Prime, but with horses instead of trucks. My mom was Barbara Watson Road, but sadly she passed away when I was very young.
Wow, that seems difficult to go through. What was the rest of your childhood like?
I was the youngest of four kids, which basically means I was stuck with hand-me-down everythings. My dad passed away when I was young, and it was really hard. But luckily, my uncle, who was a wealthy Roman Catholic church official, took us in.
Wow, that seems crazy. Have you always wanted to be an astronomer when you grew up?
Not really. I wasn't sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. First, I went to university and studied astronomy and astrology, but I dropped out before I got my degree. Don't try that at home, kids. Then I went to law school, taught math, and even worked at the church. But no matter what, in my free time, I was always staring at the sky, because stars are way cooler than paperwork.
Wow, that's crazy. When I was a kid, I could barely focus on my homework. What was your inspiration?
Back then, the big guy was Ptolemy. He said that the Earth was the center of the universe, like Earth was the VIP at a cosmic party. But when I looked up, things didn't add up. So I came up with a new model. Earth isn't the star of the show. It actually goes around the sun. Oh, and I figured out Earth spins on its axis too, which is why you don't feel dizzy, even though we're basically on a giant cosmic merry-go-round.
Well, that's cool. But what do people think about these revolutionary subjects?
Let's just say they weren't exactly fans. Back then, the church had a lot of power, and they believed Earth was the center because that's how God planned it. So if I came out and said, "Hey guys, actually, the Earth goes around the sun," I'd be in big trouble. That's why I waited until basically my deathbed to publish the book. It came out after I died, which is one way to avoid bad book reviews.
Well, that brings us back to the subject of death. Speaking of death, when did you die?
I passed away on May 24th, 1543, when I was 70 years old. The cause was a stroke, and I had other health problems leading up to it, including paralysis. But hey, on the bright side, I lived long enough to see my book finally published, which means I literally dropped the mic on science and left the stage.
Amen, brother. That's awesome. Since then, have you had any other contributions to astronomy?
Oh yeah, I wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Besides my heliocentric model, I came up with more accurate calculations for how planets move. And those numbers were the go-to way of tracking planets back in 1551. Not bad for math without calculators, right? I translated Greek texts into Latin, which basically means I was the human version of Google Translate, but fancier and with way more coffee.
Well, thanks for coming out here today, Nick. Stay safe in your grave! And that wraps up today's episode of The Nerd Herd, where the facts are fun, the theories are wild, and the nerds are just proudly herded. Whether you're a black hole buff or a quantum Quizler, or just here for the cosmic chaos, thanks for geeking out with us. Bye-bye.